Hello gamers. I am doing a very different video today. I'm extremely sick. And so like if I don't know what I even have, but if I raise my voice tone like at all above monotone as shit, it completely goes out like this. It's horrible. Oh. But I'm drinking water and stuff. I'm trying to help it. Anyway. So I have a very different video today. Um, we are gonna be with me in Uni as well. By the way, if you don't know who Uni is, go watch my lore video. You're gonna be very confused. You're gonna be very confused what's happening. We're gonna be ranking the jackdaw upgrades. we're gonna be while my voice is ruined and shit, we're gonna be ranking the fucking upgrades for the jackdaw for AC from AC4. We're gonna be I'm gonna be ranking all of the upgrades and I'm gonna be debating it with Uni, who honestly, since my voice is so fucked up right now, um, it might be hard to tell each other apart, so I'll probably just throw up text on the screen saying whoever's speaking. That way it doesn't get confusing. So, um, yeah, this is an idea I just randomly had because I was getting back into AC4 again. AC4 and AC in general is something I've never really done on YouTube ever, even on my old channel from like 2013 or 2012 or whatever. Because I'm pretty sure my YouTube says my channel was made like 2019 or something, right? I think so. Yeah, 2019 February. I've actually been on YouTube since like 2013 or so, but my original channel got deleted and I have no idea why. I got like no email, no text message, no warnings. I literally was perfectly fine and woke up one day and my channel was just fucking gone and I had no idea what happened. And I lost all of the videos and I lost like entire playthroughs of games and shit and I lost so many fucking good videos. Not that good because, I wasn't as good as editing back then, but I still had some pretty fucking good bangers on there. Um, and I lost everything because at that time, most of the time when I made a video, I deleted off my computer because I was really low on space. And so I had to clear storage somehow. So after I put it on YouTube, it's like, okay, it's on YouTube. If I want to watch it, I'll just watch it on there. And so I would delete it off my PC to get the space back. And I had like an entire Xenoblade 2 playthrough that I had edited really hardcore, and I had like probably 20 hours of total footage, and it was all like really edited. It was honestly a really funny playthrough, and I would give anything to watch that again. Like that was one of the best things I ever made, even to this day. And I lost like all that. I think I have like one episode on my computer, and I think it's the final episode. I think I might have one episode on my PC left. I don't even know if it's the edited one or if it's the raw footage. I don't even know, but I lost so many things. But anyway, AC4 was a game I started probably in like 2014 or something. I was like, I think it was free on Xbox Live or something, like, because back then my PC was not that good at all, and I really mostly played on the 360 and the Xbone, and Xbox Gold gave out like 2 free games a month or whatever, and some of those games were fucking god tier. Like they gave out AC4, I think, and they gave out MGS5. They gave out Ground Zeroes though, not Phantom Pain. But after I played Ground Zeroes, it was so damn good. I wanted to get Phantom Pain, and now I have over 1,000 hours on the PC version alone, which isn't even the main version I play it on. And then my other accounts also have like hundreds of hours on them. And I've played MGS5 on PS5, Xbox One, Xbox 360, and PC. And I've probably and Xbox One as well. Did I say that already? I've played that game like probably at least 3 to 4 thousand hours total, and I only got into that series. And I've also played almost every Metal Gear game except some of the smaller ones like like Acid or Ghost Babel, like the really small ones that aren't even like core or canon. Like I've played one through five, Peace Walker. I didn't play Metal Gear 1 or 2 because I couldn't like get that running because it's on MSX and I couldn't find an emulator at the time. I still want to eventually play those games though at some point. But like Xbox free games with gold, honestly, bro, that's like one of the greatest things that happened to me because it introduced me to like some of my favorite game series to this day. Like I'm still fucking playing MGS5 and I'm still playing AC4. Like I'm getting back into it again. And I was like, I was at my mom's house or whatever. I was on my 360 at like 2 a.m. and I was like asking Uni like, what if we like ranked all the jackdaw upgrades? Cause I was thinking like, I hate the underwater diving shit, and I was like, if I wanted to beat the legendary ships or whatever, what are like the most important elite upgrades I would need to have? Like the things I really can't go without or I wouldn't probably win. Cause I don't really need every single elite upgrade. Like as long as I have all the advanced, I probably could still win. But if I wanted to have at least like three upgrades, what are like my top three? And then it made me think like, what if we just ranked every single upgrade period? Like, what if we just did a whole tier list? Like, just make a fucking tier list and rank the entire Jackdaw upgrades. And then I was also debating like how a fight between the Jackdaw and the Morgan would go. Yeah, that was like a really nice discussion that night. We talked about that a lot. In any case, um, I got Uni here with me right now. Uni, how you feeling?
Well, I can barely use your voice because it's so strained, but I'm here.
Great, great, great. Okay. So we're doing this in the order of the game list. So like if you get on the game and scroll down, it's the same order as this. So starting off with the elite hole, this is obviously an instantaneous S tier. This thing is literally fucking the the elite hole is literally like the most necessary upgrade. Like if most people if you ask them which one elite upgrade would you get, it would be the elite hole. And not only is the elite hole S tier because it's so important, it's also because it's impossible to miss during the main storyline. Because in I think it's like sequence 5 or something, you have to do that one mission where you dive beneath the water with Blackbeard. And then this mission, the one that you dive under, the wreck you dive to, has the elite hole. So you don't even have to go out of your way to get this. As long as you get all the chests in that mission, you will get the elite hole upgrade plan. So that also gives it like an S tier just because it's so easy to get on top of it being like so good because like honestly you can dodge cannonballs and shit but you can't like really dodge them. Like for instance, if you wanted to fight fucking Ellen Paluto without the elite hull, this motherfucker's ram is nearly impossible to avoid. Like as far as I know, it's basically impossible to avoid for the most part. I feel like I've maybe been able to dodge it sometimes, but it's not like really consistently dodgeable. In this motherfucker's broadsides, the way he attacks this guy in general, just like it's nearly impossible to avoid him. Like to not take damage during this fight, I think is actually impossible. Because his broadsides have absolutely ludicrous range. And if you try to like really get away from him, he'll probably just counterattack and ram the shit out of you. I don't know, but like, yeah, the elite hole is in S tier mainly just because you need to have high defense against the legendary ships, especially Alan Paluto or Alan Paludo, because he's nearly impossible to dodge. Like you can range out HMS Prince and you can like stun lock and broadside La Dama Negra and you can diligently avoid the Mortars if you know how to manipulate it. But HMS Prince and the Royal Sovereign, or whatever their names were, I forgot, bro. The twin ships, I always just call them the twin ships. The twin ships, they're almost impossible to avoid as well. And then Ellen Paluto is yeah basically impossible to avoid. Anyway, Uni, what are you thinking?
Hmm. I feel more like maybe an A.
No, no way, bro. No way. You saying Elite Hole is A tier? How can Elite Hole be A tier and not S, bro? This thing, this the Elite Hole, it's so good. The Elite Hole. What is your argument for the Elite Hole not being S? I genuinely want to hear it. How can the Elite Hole not be S tier, bro? It's a given. Like, if I put this in anything below S tier, people are gonna like call me crazy. What's your argument?
Well, the main argument I have is that it's probably, I think it's the most expensive one you can get. It takes a while to get everything for that. And then with you doing the challenge of no upgrades and stuff, I realized just how much you can actually avoid, like, damage. You have only the level 2 hull, but you're rarely losing more than a bar or two in a fight. So, if you're just good enough at the game, you probably don't even need any more than the 3rd level hull upgrade because you can just avoid the damage, right?
I mean, mm, I mean that's technically true, but like if you're just playing the game like a normal person in general, the elite hole, is still like honestly, if I could like put it between S and A, I would. But I don't think, bro, I don't think I can compromise on that. There's no way I can put the elite hole in A tier. The elite hole is literally the first thing on the list. It's the first upgrade on the list. You don't have to go out of your way to get the upgrade plan. The game wants you to have this. Like literally, the game itself was designed to make sure you at least had the elite hull unlocked because they put its blueprint as part of a fucking story mission that you can't ignore. Like, come on, bro, you have to admit the elite hull is S tier. There's no way it's not S tier. How could the elite hull not be S tier, man? I just don't get it.
If there was like an S and A, yeah, I'd probably put it there. It's definitely very good, but you've proven that you don't really need it. And,
Okay, I guess I could see your argument, but there's no way I'm not putting it in S tier. It's going in S tier. All right, the elite broadside cannons. This is obviously an S tier as well. Um, well, not even necessarily elite, but just like in general. The elite cannons, obviously. Now, I do admit that the advanced cannons is like 21. You could make an argument for A tier because like the advanced cannons versus elite is only two more cannons, but still you got 23 broadside cannons. You want that's maximum firepower. If you combine that with elite heavy shot, you can do absolutely crazy damage. Like if you get behind the man of war and you just kind of circle behind it and unload elite heavy shot with elite cannons, you'll wreck that shit in like two or three broadsides. Like you destroy that shit. Um, now, Uni, what are you thinking?
um, yeah, I think no matter what, that would be S tier because no matter what your skill level is, having more damage is always a welcome thing.
Yeah, okay, that's gonna be. I'm putting that. Do you think it should go above or below the elite hull?
Probably above.
I can agree with that. All right, the elite cannons above the elite hull. All right, now we got the reinforced bow chasers. Now I gotta admit, I've never really noticed this till recently, but even if you have like the minimum amount of bow chaser upgrades, even when it only shoots like two chain shots, it still like completely stuns the ship. As far as I'm concerned, because I beat HMS Prince without any upgrades except the forced ones. And I noticed that I could genuinely stun lock it as long as I kept shooting the bow chaser, even though it's the lowest level one. So I'm thinking that honestly, the bow chaser. Uh, I mean, another thing is that the bow chaser doesn't even have an elite upgrade. There's no elite chain shot or elite bow chaser. And I also hate that because when you get the elite cannons, they turn gold. You'll have gold broadside cannons, but your bow chasers are still the regular like cast iron or whatever cannons were made out of. I don't know that shit. Um, Whatever they were made out of, they stay that like gray black color instead of turning gold as well, and I always dislike that. Um, I feel like they could have maybe added like an additional cut in for another set of chaser cannons and made them elite so that they could become gold and match the rest of the aesthetic. But with all that said, the bow chasers themselves don't do that much damage. And if you still only need like the at least even just level 1 no upgrade chain shot and bow chasers can still stun lock at a fucking legendary ship, I'm gonna have to give this like C tier because the only thing it really gives you is like just more leverage. Same goes for like the chain shot itself. I suppose I'll give the chain shot itself a B tier because I believe that the chain shot itself multiplies the amount of chain shots you fire, whereas this just gives you like one additional, two additional. Now these compound on each other, but I think if you can only get one, I believe the advanced chain shot will be better than getting the bow chasers. I've not actually tested this, but to my knowledge, I think that that would ultimately probably be better if you went for the advanced chain shot over the bow chasers. And again, the chain shot does little damage itself, so you can't really argue that it's worth it because it does more damage. It doesn't really do anything. The only thing it would do is if it like stun locked it more. And maybe I just haven't noticed it, but maybe it stun locks it and it keeps it stunned for longer. But I don't think it really does because I pay close attention and I've never really noticed like on my fully upgraded jackdaw versus my minimum one, the chain shot stunning them for a longer period. Both of them stun completely when they are hit with it. It is a stun. So I'm gonna give advanced chain shot B and C. Uni, what do you think?
You could maybe go a little bit lower, but I don't want to argue too much. I think that's pretty fair.
Okay, cool. All right, now we got the elite ram. This is the top of S tier. This thing is god tier. If there was a like elite, this thing deserves its own tier. The elite ram deserves its own tier. If you get the charge attack and you pair the charge attack with this thing, you will literally one shot like you can one shot frigates with this. Like if it's a lower level you will one shot any schooner. Any schooner will get one shot by this. Any gunboat will get one shot by this. Most brigs and some frigates will also get one shot by this. And even if it doesn't one shot them, it'll probably two shot them. At worst, I think a level 60 man of war can take like 3 rams with the charge. I don't know how many it takes without the charge, but the elite ram is like definitely S tier, especially for me because I've always been like a ram kind of person. Like I'll broadside, then I'll turn in, then I'll chain shot and ram them on and shit, and that'll devastate them. Like that will rip them to shreds. This elite ram, even the game itself says like the elite hole says like it makes the jackdaw the terror of the seas. They know how powerful this fucking thing is. The elite ram is absolutely insane. It's ridiculously overpowered, honestly. And again, if the charge attack, if you have that, you will literally one-shot frigates. You can go up to a naval convoy and ram it and one-shot it. And because you never actually engage in combat, the escorting schooners won't even attack you. So you just ram it, and it instantly gets like boardable. You wait a second, ram it again, and then it sinks, and you can take the money. And you won't even ever take any damage because the enemies don't even get a chance to shoot at you. The elite ram, I can't praise this enough. This is absolutely god tier. The elite ram is definitely like probably the best upgrade. I would not want to go without this. Uni, what do you think?
Yeah, I fully agree. The Elite Ram can genuinely destroy almost anything, and if you use it against legendary ships, even though you wouldn't have the charge unlocked yet, if you have the, chain shot ram strategy down, you can really destroy it, especially La de Mon Negra, since you have to basically always attack the backside anyway. The Elite Ram with the chain shot against La de Mon Negra pretty much makes it a joke.
Right? Like yeah, like La de Mon Negra, fucking La de Mon Negra. No, that gif, the fucking gif of like Squidward nose deflating. Fucking La de Mon Negra. No wait, where's the one where it's like yeah this one La de Mon Negra when he sees the jackdaw with the fucking elite ram. Oh god, yeah that. That's perfect. That's perfect. I should like make that an actual meme. La Dama Negra seeing a jackdaw with an elite ram. Oh my god. Alright, alright. Now the elite round shot. Elite round shot. This is definitely S tier. I'm actually gonna put it ahead of the elite cannons, in my opinion. Because if you have only advanced cannons but you have elite round shot, you will barely notice any difference. Like if I could only have elite round shot or elite cannons, I would go for elite round shot because I believe that the extra damage from the round shot ultimately does more damage than the two extra cannons would do. And while you do have a bit more coverage because you have two extra balls firing, I ultimately believe that the elite round shot would give you more bang for your buck, and also the elite round shot is like only money as far as I'm concerned. The elite cannons cost metal, which means that the elite round shot is generally better. I think it's also cheaper. Like I think the elite round shot is like 15k and the elite cannons is like 21k or something. Reals, I think. I'm not sure. Um, but the round shot doesn't need any materials, and I believe it is also cheaper and generally does better damage. So yeah, it's definitely going ahead of the elite cannons. But yeah, and also it's generally it's good because it's the main ammo. It's not like heavy shot where heavy shot is limited. So like if I could pick elite heavy shot or elite round shot, I definitely pick round shot because at least round shot is infinite, whereas heavy shot can eventually run out. Uni, what do you think?
Um, yeah, I can agree. You'd have to actually check the numbers and stuff, but yeah, if you have the elite round shot over the elite cannons, since it's only two more cannons, the round shot more than likely does more damage in the end.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right, let's do the elite mortars. Now the elite mortars, I mean, honestly, um, I could argue for either A or S tier here because you could say S tier because honestly, my throat is in such horrible shape. The elite mortars, I give them credit because they have that massive radius and they're definitely useful against legendary ships because you can pelt on additional damage whenever you aren't actually able to line up a shot with broadsides. Like if you're trying to flee the ship or something, you can still lay on some damage by using the mortars. But at the same time, outside legendary ships, I almost never use the mortars because honestly, most ships you can genuinely just get up to them. You can get up to the ships and just chain shot them and ram them and use broadsides, and that generally works. Like I believe the last time I fought the legendary ships, I don't know if I even used the mortars really at all because they don't really do insane damage per se. They're kind of just like additional suppression. Like if you're down to a slug match where it's like, one of you will die and it's just a matter of time on who can kill the other first, the elite mortars will definitely give you an advantage. But I don't know, I feel like I would probably put the mortars in, I guess, A tier because they are very good, but I find them to be a bit situational. So I don't really think that they're that core. Like if I had to get only 3 or 4 upgrades, the elite mortars definitely wouldn't be one of them. Uni, what do you think?
Mm, I give it a B tier actually.
Oh, B tier, B tier. What's your reasoning for B tier?
Well, it's mainly because both what you said and also the fact it has the most limited ammo out of anything you can have. Only 20 shots. It's really not that useful. The main thing is that while it's already situational, the limited 20 shots just discourages you to use it even more.
Mm, mm. That's true. That's true. The elite mortars. Oh, and that's only if you have the elite mortar storage. If you have the regular storage, there's only 5 shots, and 5 shots is next to nothing. So yeah, honestly, I can agree with it being B tier. I guess that's fine. All right. Elite swivel guns. This is definitely top of the line S tier. It is godly, but I'm gonna put it below the ram because it can't one shot like anything. So now the thing is, the most important thing about the elite swivels and why I like them so much is that you don't have to manually let go of the swivel button anymore. When you get the elite swivels, you just hold the button down and it automatically shoots at all of the weak points, and it's also just fast as shit. So like, if you can get up close to a man of war, um, get close to a man of war, and you fire off your heavy shot, you hold the Y button for a moment, and generally, most of the time, by the time you finish attacking all the weak points, your broadside's reloaded again, and you can just get into this rhythm of broadsiding, hold Y, release it, and then immediately broadside again and hold Y, and you will just absolutely destroy anything that gets close to you. Close enough to do heavy shot, and even if it's not, even if it's far away that you have to use round shot, this thing will still do a lot of precision damage, as the game calls it, and it's just like additional damage on top of broadsides, and it really does make a difference. Like I have been, my ass has been saved from near deaths multiple times because I managed to pull off a quick shot with these elite swivels. It's definitely a very, very good thing. So, Uni, what are you thinking?
Um, hmm. I definitely think it's an S, but I'm debating if maybe it should go below the round shot.
Oh, below the round shot? Why do you think it'd be worse than the round shot? The elite swivels is literally a hold one button to do damage. I mean, I can understand, I guess, the argument because the round shot is more like core damage and the elite swivel is supplementary. But why do you think it'd go below the round shot?
Well, I don't know. I guess it's just because it's, well, the main thing is that you have to, like, stop. Well, how do I put this in a good way?
Do you need a second to think?
Mm. I just feel like, it's better to have more, like, core base damage, so the elite round shot would get the advantage over the swivels since it's, more core damage. Well, while the elite is, like you said, it's supplementary.
I guess I can see that. But fuck you, I'm putting it above elite round shot, honestly. I don't see it. Like I fully believe that the elite swivels is better than the round shot. Um, it's crazy how the elite holds like bottom of S tier. But I mean honestly, yeah, when you get good enough at the game that you can mostly avoid damage and you always brace and stuff, the elite hull honestly provides way more damage resistance than you'll ever need anyway. Whereas the cannons and round shot and stuff, that's always useful no matter what. Having more firepower is always useful. All right, we got the elite heavy shot. So I'm kind of debating between putting this in A or S because while S makes sense because the elite heavy shot will rip through ships with like the elite heavy shot will rip through ships like paper mache. It is also limited compared to the round shot, and I feel like honestly, I almost never use heavy shot because, to be honest, once you get the elite round shot and elite cannons and stuff, the heavy shot feels kind of not that necessary unless it's like an emergency situation. Because you're powerful enough that almost any ship, except like legendaries and stuff, will go down pretty quickly just using only the round shot. In the elite heavy shot, you don't have much incentive to use it unless you really need to because it does have limited ammo. So I think I'm gonna argue A tier for the heavy shot. What do you think?
I honestly have no quarrel with that. I think it belongs there too.
Nice that we agree on something. All right, cool. No arguments there. All right, let's go for the elite fire barrel. Now, the elite fire barrel is mostly a utility tool. In general, the fire barrel is like a utility tool. You do not go like the elite fire barrel is not like some aggressive thing. The elite fire barrel. Oh my god. The elite fire barrel. This is a utility tool. Now, the main thing I like about the fire barrel, especially the elite one, because you get 4 barrels, this thing will stagger ships. Now, if you got a brig trying to ram you, what I'll do is I'll usually broadside it, and then I'll quickly turn my stern toward the brig, and right before it hits me, I'll toss out the fire barrel, and that thing will cause so much recoil, like the bow of the brig fucking lifts up off into the air. And also the other nice thing is that combined with the swivels, you can lay down traps. And when like the enemy ship gets near the barrels, you can use the swivels to fire at the barrels and do some additional damage. It's not that useful, but I've definitely taken down some out of range schooners by doing it. Like if I'm ever like not able to face the schooner properly, I can toss fire barrels, and once you get close, I just shoot the barrels with the swivels, and it'll take the schooner out. So honestly, I'm thinking that the fire barrel is definitely very useful, especially against like legendary ships, because against like except like El Polluta for the most part, because even against elite fire barrels, El Polluta usually just plows right through that stagger. But like for most of the ships, I think the elite fire barrel will help to keep them from trying to charge towards you, especially with HMS Prince. That guy mostly attacks like a regular man of war. Um, and he will try to go towards you. And when he gets towards you, he can use his broadside, which is powerful enough to take out like a whole bar of health. It is a devastating broadside, and even his bow attack, like his bow chasers, are also like heavy shot, and they can do a lot of damage too. But if you use the fire barrel against him, it tends to keep him at bay and hold him back. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and argue A tier, but I'm gonna put it beneath heavy shot. What do you think?
Um, I can see your reasoning, but also I feel like the fire barrel is what are you doing?
I was moving the mortars above the chain shot because I just realized like the mortars is definitely better than the chain shot. Anyway, you were saying.
The fire barrels are a lot more situational than the heavy shot is. At least in my opinion anyway. I feel like the heavy shot is still way better than the fire barrels are. You could probably I would put the fire barrels like above, either above the mortars or between the mortars and the chain shot in B tier, but I don't know if it's good enough to be A tier.
I mean, I guess I can see that, but I also feel like I use the fire barrels. I use the fire barrels definitely more than the mortars, and the fire barrels are generally more effective at stopping an incoming brig than the chain shot is. So I feel like it could be in A tier, but I suppose I'll compromise and I'll give you that. I'll give you B tier, but I'm gonna put it at the top of B tier. What do you think?
I guess that's fair enough.
All right. That's care. Okay, so we got a diving bell. Now, the diving bell is technically not even really an upgrade. This is just like an unlock, but it is part of the. For some reason, it's in the weapons and like weapons and armor upgrade category or whatever. But now the diving bell, I would just give this instant F because it's basically useless. It does nothing in combat. And the only thing it unlocks for you is it gives you the underwater like diving things, which I fucking hate all of them anyway. I literally despise anything underwater. I just do not enjoy the diving missions, mainly because, like, one, they're slow and boring. Two, the sharks are basically impossible to avoid. Those motherfuckers can see, like, those motherfuckers could probably see the Eiffel Tower. Those motherfuckers could probably see, like, the Statue of Liberty from Los Angeles or some shit. Like, those sharks have ridiculous sight range. And also just generally the underwater, I just don't like it. There's just a lot of, like, it's mostly a lot of small things that compound, and I just ultimately don't like it. But I have to give it some credit because it is your pathway to getting all the other elite upgrades. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a D tier because it is useless, but it does mean that you can get like the elite cannons, the elite hull, the elite swivels, the elite ram especially. I think that round shot, heavy shot, fire barrel, some of these you can get from treasure maps instead. You don't have to dive for them. But most of like the most important core upgrades, like all of these except the round shot, I think those are all from underwater diving locations. So I'll give the diving bell credit for that because it does unlock this stuff. Like, if you didn't have this, you would not even have any of these. So I'll give it a D tier for credit. What do you think?
Um, I mean, I could argue for maybe E tier, but it does unlock a lot of really important stuff, so I guess D tier is fine. You can do that.
Okay, cool. Mm. All right, I've cleared my airways up a little bit. It's still bad, but okay. So now this is gonna be all of the storage upgrades. Now all the storage upgrades you could probably just combine them into one spot, but we can go ahead and rank them depending on how useful they are. So okay, Uni, I'm gonna let you actually take the lead for a second here. What do you think uh, each one should go to?
Hmm. I'm gonna give fire barrel storage. Um, I'll give it bottom of B tier, since it's probably the most often used thing you use that takes ammo. I'll give heavy shot. Um, I'll give heavy shot actually. I'll put that above. Um, I'm gonna put that above the chain shot, but beneath the mortars, since you use this a lot. But heavy shot is like extremely deadly, so I think I'll actually put that above fire barrel. I'll take that back. And then the mortar storage is good, but to be honest, I mean, the mortars are still generally kind of situational anyway, and it only gives you 20, not 40 like the rest, so it's still kind of, you need to kind of conserve it still. So I think I'll give that C tier, beneath the bow chasers anyway.
I think I can agree, but I'm gonna go ahead and move the fire barrel above chain shot. I'm gonna move the storage above bow chaser. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I want to almost argue like fire barrel over heavy shot, but I'll compromise and I'll let you have the heavy shot, but I'll put the fire barrel above chain shot. What do you think?
That's okay. I think we can do that.
Alright, okay. So now we got the advanced cruise quarters. This is absolutely fucking useless. Um, the cruise quarters is literally a waste of fucking money and cloth. I only get this just so that it says like my jackdaw's 100% upgraded. The cruise quarters allows you to have more maximum crew, but the only thing crew does is help you board ships. But if you're decent at the game at all, if you're even somewhat competent, you would never like run out of crew when boarding ships because the game litters crew members and you typically gain some crew whenever you board ships, so it's almost impossible to run out of crew. And unless you just take forever to board a ship, you probably won't lose like any more than one or two, maybe three, four at the most crew members boarding a ship. And let's assume you aren't boarding ships back to back to back to back to back. Whenever you're sailing for a bit, or if you like board ships like Man of Wars and stuff, you'll get crew back. And even if you run out of crew, you can just make a quick pit stop to any like area, most of them, and you can just hire more crew, and it's dirt cheap too. Crew is such an easy resource to manage. I honestly wish they had like more of a purpose for crew. Like if you had more crew or something, like the crew, there'd be more people helping you attack the ship, and maybe like they could probably reel the ship in faster, like the grappling hook part where they pull the ship and they could do that faster. Um, like I just feel like they should have. I had an idea in the past uni, but I forgot what it was to make crew a more useful resource, like more of an impact. But yeah, the crew's quarters, and it's not even like you need to have a specific amount of crew. Like if they made like you have to have a high level crew to attack a man of war. Like to board it, you had to have advanced crew to attack a man of war and board it. Like if they restricted like you can only board brigs and schooners until you get higher max crew because the frigates and man of wars is too many people to fight, then that could make it have some kind of purpose, but you can attack and board a man of war easy with minimum crew. So yeah, the crew's quarters is basically useless as shit. Um, so yeah, honestly, there's like next to no use for it. You could genuinely ignore that. You could ignore that for the entire game, and you honestly wouldn't even notice it's gone. Alright, so now let's go ahead and rate. I'm gonna rank the cargo storage as E. Now, I'm not giving this F or D because honestly, now actually I'm gonna argue with D. I'm actually gonna give this a D. The reason is because like some of the really high level upgrades, I believe if I remember correctly, the regular amount of storage max you have is 500, but some of the highest level upgrades need like 600 or 550 or 750. So you have to have at least a level 2 cargo storage to get 1000 for the storage. So since it's like technically part of unlocking the elite upgrades, which do matter, I'll put it at I'll put it in D tier, but I'll put it behind the diving bell.
Yeah, I can see that. Maybe E tier at worst, but D is probably pretty fair.
All right. Mm. This is just becoming worse and worse. All right, now we got the advanced rowboat. I'm gonna give this shit E tier. Now the reason for this is because if you're competent at the game, honestly no, I could give this shit F tier. Fuck that F tier, dude. I'm giving this shit F tier, but above the cruise quarters though. I'm giving it F tier. The rowboat armor. Now the thing about harpooning in this game is the thing about harpooning in the game is that if you're competent, you'll never take damage because whenever the enemy's gonna attack like the thing you're harpooning, even the white whale, even with the white whale, you can avoid taking any damage as long as you make sure to always counterattack its attacks, which is very easy to do. Like the crew member will shout, "The tail's coming," or like when it breaks off and it jumps into the air, you have a long period of time to attack. It's not like a really short parry window. It's easy to counter the attacks. So that honestly, the armor is pretty much useless unless you're just not very good at harpooning. So, and since this is kind of a subjective tier list, I'm mostly ranking it in my honest opinions, along with the unis as well. Uh, Now, and again, I never take damage when fighting harpoon enemies because, again, it's super duper easy to counterattack them that you really won't ever get hit unless you're just incompetent. So I'm gonna give it F tier because it's still honestly more useful than cruise quarters. Cruise quarters is basically completely useless, but at least the rowboat has some uses. Like at least the rowboat will actually defend you against some damage and it might help you out. Now the elite harpoon. I'm gonna give this a D tier. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a D tier. I'm gonna put it beneath everything else. Now the elite harpoon, I could give it a higher tier, but honestly, I can't compare the fucking harpoon. Like, imagine this would be a joke if I just put the elite harpoon on top of everything else. Like, fucking top of S tier is the elite harpoon. Like, that's just stupid. But realistically, the elite harpoon is the only way you can defeat a white whale. Because, like, even if you have the advanced rowboat, unless you're some kind of god, um, the elite harpoon is the only way you can stop the white whale's attacks in time. Like, even if you have the advanced one, if you try to counterattack the white whale's attacks, it won't stop them in time before the attacks hit you. Even if you attack the moment that you could start like trying to stop its attacks, it's essentially impossible to counter the white whale's attacks without the elite harpoon. And even if you have the highest level rowboat, you will die before you can finish defeating the white whale. And since like the damage is reset, even if you were to, for instance, like do most of the damage and then retry it, the damage resets. So you can never defeat the white whale without the elite harpoon. And the white whale does let you get the whaler outfit, which I don't care that much for, but it's kind of nice. And it does let you sell the skin for like I think it was 4K or 3K, which is a decent amount of money for simply doing a whaling activity. And that's like naval convoy payout. Um, but yeah, the elite harpoon, I'm gonna give it a D tier, but beneath others because while it is useful for like easily making all the other ones trivial, like you can like three-shot most sharks. I think you can three-shot the bull shark and like four-shot the hammerhead shark with this thing, as long as it's like fully charged. You can easily defeat any other harpoon enemy with the elite harpoon, but it's not as good as the cargo storage and diving bell because those unlock the real shit that matters, like the ram, swivel, cannons, and hull. So I'm gonna put it there. Now, Yudi, what do you think?
I mean, I could maybe argue it being like, I don't know. You could put it above the diving bell and cargo storage because it's like an actual thing you really use even when the game's over with. Like when the cargo storage and the diving bell, after the game is like done with, you'll never really need them for anything again. But even if you're in like the post game, you might still be using the elite harpoon time to time to, bring in white whales or whatever.
Hmm. You make a good point. Fuck it. I'll put the elite harpoon above them. I'll give you that. I actually agree with that. I'll give you that. Alright, so now we got the harpoon storage. I'm gonna give this, I don't think it's quite worthy of D tier, but it's not completely F tier either. Because I don't know how many harpoons it takes to defeat a white whale, even if you have the elite harpoon. But I think you might need at least one upgrade for the harpoon storage to be able to have enough harpoons to defeat the white whale, even if the harpoon is the elite one. Especially if it wasn't one, but you'd never win against it anyway if it wasn't, because the attacks would kill you before you could finish it. But yeah, I'll give the advanced harpoon storage an E tier, mainly just because of the fact that it is kind of easy to miss attacks. Like, even though I'm pretty good at harpooning, I still miss some attacks here and there. And I think the harpoon storage has saved me from running out of harpoons sometimes, especially with white whale, because they do take a lot of attacks. But it's mainly just white whale because any other one, you only take like 3 to 4 shots to kill the bull shark and the hammerhead. And I don't know if there was any other ones that you could harpoon. I don't remember if there were any other things you could harpoon. I think it was just those. I forget. But the harpoon storage does definitely have its uses because especially with the smaller ones like the bull shark, it's a bit harder to hit them accurately because they are a smaller target. But yeah, in general, the harpoon storage has probably saved me a couple failures from running out of harpoons when I sometimes have like streaks of misses, because it can be hard because you have to like accommodate for them moving, because the harpoon doesn't really automatically target like the direction it's going in. It just goes where you throw it, and it's also like going against the air and shit. It's just kind of weird to describe the way the harpoon moves when you throw it, but it's pretty easy to miss. So honestly, yeah, having the extra Harpoons is definitely useful, but it's not like as good as the elite harpoon, but it's not also as bad as the armor or the cruise quarters either, especially. Now, finally, this one's technically not an upgrade, it's more of an unlock, but we got the charge ability. I'm gonna give this one is what like lets you one-shot shit, but honestly, at the same time, it's not that crazy. So I think I'll give it like, I don't know. I think I'm debating this one. I'm thinking about this one. I think I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna put it here. I think I'm gonna put it here. Um, yeah, I think it's definitely an S tier, if not at least the top of A. But yeah, I think it's probably more useful than the hull or cannons, but it's not as core powerful as something like round shot, swivel, or the ram is. Because the elite ram itself is what's so powerful. If you have the charge attack and only the advanced ram, it still isn't gonna like do any crazy damage. But pairing the elite ram with the charge attack is what makes it so fucking deadly. The elite ram itself is deadly. The charge attack is moderately deadly. But pairing them together makes the jackdaw like extremely overpowered because you can literally charge attack one shot like most ships. Most ships except man of wars and some of the high level frigates and I think maybe the highest level brigs. Almost anything just gets one shot with the elite ram, and if not two shot, maybe three shot for the most powerful ships. But yeah, that charge attack is definitely high up there. I definitely would argue that the charge attack is probably more useful than the hull or elite cannons. And the only reason the elite cannons is down there beneath charge attack and stuff is only because over the advanced one you only get two more cannons. Because the advanced is 21 and the elite is 23. Now I think like the I don't know if it what it was called. I think reinforced cannons is like 17 and then advance is 21. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. You get 4 more cannons with that one, but only 2 more cannons with the elite one. If the elite cannons gave you like 25, then I'd probably put it above the charge attack maybe, but since it's such a small increase, I'm going to put it beneath charge. What do you think?
Um, hmm. Well, to be honest, you can one-shot a lot of things. So I almost want to put it above the swivels in the round shot, just because it lets you one-shot stuff. You could even put it at the very top, since it allows the elite ram to actually hit its max potential.
You really think the charge attack is S tier, top of S tier, the charge attack? Really? Like, I can understand what you're saying, but I'm also ranking it as its own thing. Like, not specifically with it being paired with the elite ram. Like, I mean, you'll probably have the elite ram, maybe the advanced one, after defeating the legendary ships. So I guess I can see what you're saying, because if you got that, you probably have the elite ram anyways. But if you didn't have that for any reason, then it's not quite as useful as the elite ram itself. Like, I mean, I could maybe compromise and say it's better than the round shot, but I don't know. I kind of feel like it's more beneath round shot because round shot is like the core damage and swivels is also like core supplementary damage. That's really really useful. Cause I mean you can only use the elite ram if you're like gonna ram, but the round shot and swivel guns you can use that like anytime. Cause it's easier to just line up a broadside or use the swivels and hold Y to win or depending on whatever controller you're using, triangle or spacebar or whatever. Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna put it still at like elite round shot, but I mean, do you like really think it's more powerful than those things?
Well, if it were me, I guess I'd put it beneath the elite ram itself. But it is probably still useful than the swivels, perhaps.
Shit, I don't know. I'm gonna just say let's compromise. I'm gonna put it above round shot but beneath the swivels. What do you think?
I guess that's fair enough.
Okay, so the final breakdown. We got elite ram top of S, followed by the elite swivels, the charge ability, the elite round shot, elite cannons, and elite hull at the bottom of S. We got elite heavy shot at A tier. We got the elite fire barrels at the top of B tier, followed by elite mortars, the elite heavy shot storage, fire barrel storage, and the advanced chain shot. And then you got the mortar storage and the bow chasers. Then you have the elite harpoon, diving bell, and the advanced cargo storage. And while I could maybe argue that the lead harpoon is not as useful as these because these things don't unlock upgrades, or this thing doesn't unlock the most powerful upgrades, like this thing does not give you access to this stuff. Uni does have a point that when you're done with these things, you'll literally never need them or use them again. Whereas the harpoon, you'll still be using it to get the occasional white whale whenever you see one in the post game. So it has more it ultimately has more usability. So I could maybe argue it being between them, but I'm going to go ahead and go with Uni's opinion. And I think I'm going to go ahead and give it top of D tier. And then you've got E tier for the advanced harpoon storage, because it's not completely useless, but it's not as useful as all this other stuff. And then the rowboat storage is almost completely useless, and the cruise quarters is completely useless. There's literally no reason to get this unless you're completely incompetent and can't keep your crew alive, which only reason you would not be able to do that is because you take like 3 hours to board a ship and your crew gets decimated, which it should never take you that long to do. Especially because AC4 combat's not even like very hard. So we're gonna save that. Yeah, this is gonna be our this is our tier list right here. There it is. So it took us like 40 minutes or something, but we ranked all the upgrades. If I were to do this again with like the Morgan upgrades, it'd probably be the same thing, maybe slightly different. But yeah, I mean for one, like the Morgan doesn't even have to unlock the charge ability. Like the charge ability is unlocked as soon as you get the elite ram, I think. You don't even have to like be the legendary ships to unlock it. Which I honestly like that, because honestly, if you've already beat all 4 legendary ships, the charge attack's not even that useful anymore. It's just to bully ships. Like that's just to bully ships that are like, you know, the average ship. That's just to bully and one-shot them. So I mean, you could argue it being lower than some of these. Like you could maybe say it's not as good as some of these because you have to beat all legendary ships to get this. You could say it's not as good because of like the amount of work it takes to access it, but I admit that when you access it, it does let you one-shot a lot of things. So I think that that's probably a pretty fair placement, I think. So yeah, I'm gonna say fucking like Retro's opinion. No, hold on, let me correct that. Retro and Uni's opinion on the upgrades. Save that shit. I'm gonna save that. Honestly, that was kind of fun. I feel like, dude, if we got Laura and Rebecca in on this, this would be even crazier. If we got Laura and Rebecca on this would be even fucking crazier. Remix this list. I've never seen that button before. Oh, it just lets you like reorganize it. Okay, interesting. Yeah, if we got like Laura and Becca also adding their opinions on something like this, that'd be honestly pretty crazy. Anyway, yeah, I think this is a pretty fair tier list. All right. Um, Hope you guys enjoyed listening to me absolutely suffer because my voice is so fucking messed up. It's so it's so bad. Like I can't even like if I try to do a Sonic impression, I would just completely like screw it up. Wow, sounds like you have a. Wow, sounds like you have a. I can't even say the line. It's horrible. Oh my god, I can't even think of a Sonic line to even do, let alone actually say it. Like what would I even say? Like was an iconic Sonic line, like some Sonic Unleashed line that I can probably still do the Werehog because like my deep voice is okay, but my higher voice that I use for like the regular Sonic impression is extremely strained and like not working at all right now. Jeez, I can't even think of a single line to do. I can't think of a single one. I don't know why I can't. Man, I just give up. Guys, I'm gonna see you later. Maybe when I'm like, maybe when I'm like not suffering like this. Peace.